Hey guys, Sublord here, back in with another action figure review. Today we'll be wrapping up our looks at the DC Comics Digital Figital Wave, whatever you want to call it, at least this wave anyways, with the Bronze Age Batgirl, who I'm going to say is the dud of the wave, because this figure takes a couple steps back, whereas the Batgirl we're going to be taking a look at in a couple of days from the DC Multiverse proper, I think goes a bit above and beyond, at least in the cape department. That said, this is of course brought to us by the fine folks over at McFarlane Toys and or DC Direct. Pick your poison, but before we get too far ahead of ourselves, why don't we cut right to the chase and get to the meat and taters of this review and take a look, see at all she has to offer in terms of accessories. Got the Bat Grapple and the Batarang, which is not oversized, but it's a little tricky to get in the hand. We also have the collectible trading card. Bio on the back, it's Barbara Gordon Batgirl. What do you expect? Got the hockey puck display stand we're using with all McFarlane Toys releases, and here you go. I like the metallics. It looks like she's got some metallics going on. That's kind of neat. It's different. But other than that, it feels like it's the Three Jokers figure again, essentially. Which is fine, but it's not perfect. I will say she does have these sculpted ankles here, if you're into that. She does have that. So, woohoo, I guess. But like I said, I like the gold. She black and gold, that's a cool look for her. I think there was an old Mattel figure that looked like this. But as far as articulation goes, it's the same old Batgirl body. I feel like I've reviewed this thing like 7 times in the past couple of years. But we got the double ball peg in the head. That works fine. Shoulder kicks up, back down, rotates all the way around. She does have that butterfly, but it doesn't really do much. Bicep swivel, double elbow. It's fine. Does what it needs to. Ball hinge wrist, rotate, hinge, and swivel. Whoop! And we got the torso, which is very bobbly on mine. Very bobbly. Now, one thing to note about the torso on this figure, the ball socket for the waist, or the diaphragm, is actually connected to the sockets for the shoulders. It's a plug-in piece, so you could probably put super glue somewhere and keep it from being as bobbly. That's probably all it is. It's kind of like the Marvel Legends crotch peg thing. If, you kink it right, it'll loosen up. But she does also have a waist, but that sucker is really tight on mine. So, unlike Red Tornado, who had a looser waist and a tighter abdomen section, she's got the looser abdomen section and a tighter waist. Very interesting. Or diaphragm, whatever. Hips, we'll kick forward, out. Not much back because of her cake there. She does have a little bit of a thigh quiver. Mostly on the one side. So, take that for what you will. She's got a double knee. And I think the older bodies, the hinges and whatnot, are a little bit better. They don't seem as egregious. And then, of course, she has these sculpted ankles, so she has rotation, hinge, pivot, and a toe joint. That's not too loose. A little tread on her shoes, boots, whatever. But not a bad release. If you don't have a Batgirl, it's fine. I think her grapple's probably a little better because it's retracted, and that's a little bit more useful, but it does feel a bit oversized. And why can't I get it in her hand? What's going on here? Get in the hand. Here. Get in. There. But it does feel a little oversized. Not gonna lie. So, yeah, there is that. But a decent release, but compared to the other two figures in this wave, and just in general. Like, there are better Batgirls out there. I think, spoiler Batgirl, Stephanie Brown, is it? Then, the Batgirl we'll be looking at in a couple of days, and the Cassandra Cain. I think those are probably the best ones, you ask me. This one isn't bad, but I think we got a better Barbara Gordon on the way here. So, with that being said, it's time now that we move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is good old Barbara Gordon, aka Batgirl, alongside the rest of this digital wave, which we've already taken a look at here on the channel, so please check those reviews out. If you haven't already, would really appreciate it if you did, because, well, the algorithm's not been very kind to your boy as of late with these single-digit views. Not sure what the heck's up with that crap. There's over 1,000 of you subscribed, but at any rate, we do have Blackfire and Red Tornado, both of which are a lot better than this Batgirl. If I didn't have to get this Batgirl, I probably wouldn't have, but I am kind of glad that I have her, because I do believe it's more 90s look for her, and I like my 90s DC, so what can I say? But as I mentioned in the other reviews, I think the scaling's fine. Is it perfect? No, but it's McFarlane. Just kind of learned to suck it up and deal with it at this point, especially since he's losing the license, allegedly. Bringing our two regulars, we got the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibilith right there, and the infamous Elephant Spawn, as usual. Towers, I think, over everyone this time. Not towering per se, but it's getting there. It's getting there. So, with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to stick by my previous statement in saying that good old Barbara Gordon here is by far the weakest figure out of this digital, whatever you want to call it, all wave, because not only are we going to be looking at a much better figure of Barbara in the next couple of days, but they went backwards with this one, man. She's got the plastic cape instead of the wired cape, and the torso on mine, not for nothing, being a little loose, it doesn't do her any favors, but it's not the worst Batgirl in the line. I'll give her that. I think she's a step up from some of the previous releases, but just not as strong as that Silver Age and or Classic, whatever it's called, release that we will be taking a look at once again in the next couple of days here. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.